In this video, I want to talk about the biggest scam, the biggest lie that's ever been spun on everybody. And most people just don't understand this. And the lie is that money is fake. It's not real. And I don't mean like it's like not real in the sense of counterfeit notes or coins. I mean, it's literally, it doesn't exist. It's numbers written on a screen, created out of thin air by the banks. 90% of the money in the world isn't real. There's only 10% of all the money floating around the world, only 10% of it is actual cash. 90% of it isn't real. So I want to talk about that in this video. Because I was thinking, if money's not real, and if a bank is creating the money out of thin air, when banks are on the verge of collapse like they were in 2008, the government just steps in and bails the banks out, gives them the money that they need to function properly again. And I was thinking, well, if money's not real, where does this money come from the government to bail the banks out? This is where the scam starts. So let's talk about how money is created out of thin air. And it's all done by the banks. When you go into a bank to apply for a £10,000 loan, for example, and you get approved and it's like, woo, fantastic. The bank doesn't then go down into its vault and pull £10,000 worth of cash out. No, it just literally types £10,000 into your account on a computer screen. But the thing is, we then have to pay that money back plus interest with our actual own presumed real cash. So we're paying back money plus interest on money that doesn't even physically exist. And that's how banks work. That's how money is created. It's created through debt. Debt is what makes the whole monetary system work. And it's not even backed up by anything. All of this imaginary cash, it's not backed up by anything of value like gold or, I don't know, like anything. It's just not backed up by anything. It's just there on a screen with nothing supporting or backing that kind of number of cash up. Doesn't make any sense. So in 2008, the banks got a little bit too greedy and they were handing out too much debt. And it was handing out debt to people who couldn't even afford to pay the payments on the debt. And it overwhelmed the whole banking system because people weren't paying back whatever needed to be paid on their loans or mortgages or whatever. And we had the financial crisis of 2008, the banking crisis. And what happened is the government swept in and bailed the banks out. Now, who paid? Where did they get that money from? They didn't just find billions and billions of pounds behind the couch to just hand to the banks. No, we ended up paying it. And we did that because the government has three ways to bail out a bank. It can either print more money, print some actual physical money, but what that does is it devalues the currency. It drives inflation through the roof, which devalues your savings, it devalues your wages, it devalues pretty much everything that you own. Everything becomes more expensive compared to what you're actually earning. Another way is it can increase taxes so that our salaries get taxed more and they use that money to bail the banks out. Or they can just make cuts to public services like the NHS, to schools, education and things like that, and use that money to bail the banks out, and then we're left with like poorer public services. So It's a complete scam, because what happens once they're bailed out? Nothing. It's back to business as usual. They hand out more loans again. They keep the whole debt cycle started all over again with more caution. They're maybe a little bit more restrained on how much money they lend out. The bankers who created the crisis in the first place, they still get their massive fat bonuses. And we're left fucking paying for it all. We're left paying for everything. So the banks loan money out, create money out of thin air to do it. They lend too much money out, they almost crash. The government bails them out and we pay for it. The bankers get richer, the rich people get richer, and we're flipping left on the shit heap, poorer than ever. So that's for me is just the biggest scam known to man. The whole monetary system relies on debt. It relies on you getting your mortgage, you getting a bank loan, getting a car loan, getting a credit card for the whole system to work. And 90% of the money in circulation isn't even real money. If everybody in the UK all at the same time went into the bank to draw out their money in cash, the banks would crash and collapse instantly because they don't have the money there to do it. For every £1 of physical money, there's 10 to 20 pounds of digital money just floating around like that doesn't exist. So if everybody went in to get their money at the same time, it would be impossible for them to do it and the whole system would just collapse and crash. So I think that's the biggest scam of all time. And I want to know in the comments how you now feel knowing that you are going to work and working your arse off for something that doesn't even exist. Let us know your thoughts. And thank you for watching. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't watched my channel before, hit the subscribe button. I'm just a regular, middle-aged, overweight bloke who likes to talk shit on the internet. And I'll see you in the next video. See ya.